The infrastructure bill has passed. What does that mean for the future of rail travel in the United States? There's a big change coming to your Amtrak's ticket kiosks. These stories and more coming right up. Hey everyone, this is Bob with Bucket List Cruise and Travel. With so much happening in the world of travel, as international has been opening up at such a rapid pace that we have neglected to talk about domestic train travel for a little while. We've just been so busy. In the past couple of months, we've been touring the East Coast, we've been touring Florida, we spent 2 weeks at Disney World, and we've been cruising. In fact, we just returned from a 2-week cruise from Los Angeles to Fort Lauderdale, which transited the Panama Canal. Hey, did you know that when visiting the historic locks of the Panama Canal, you can see mules? Those are the locomotives that pull the ship through the locks of the canal. Our cruise was on the board the Emerald Princess, and it was a wonderful trip, and a Panama Canal cruise is one I would highly recommend, and I believe that everyone should add to their bucket list. See our video of the Panama Canal locks in action right here. Now, as you have heard, more than likely, the House finally passed the highly debated infrastructure bill last Friday night. While the final version of the bill is a mere shadow of the bill many in the rail community had originally hoped for, the passage of this bill will be a major victory for the future of rail travel in America, and Amtrak in particular. The $1.2 billion House infrastructure bill includes $550 billion in entirely new investments. It earmarks $66 billion for railroads, including a significant funding for Amtrak in general and the Northeast Corridor in particular, as well as $39 billion for additional public transit. So $66 billion will be headed to fund passenger and freight railroads after the president signs the bill into law, which is expected to happen this week. There's a lot of money headed into Amtrak's checking account very soon. The new funding would be the largest investment in passenger rails since Amtrak was created. That's according to the administration. It comes as the agency tries to significantly expand its map nationwide by 2035 to provide more service outside of the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic. When asked for a statement, the Amtrak Board of Directors chair said, "The passage of this bipartisan infrastructure bill provides historic levels of investment for intercity rail in this country, and the start of a whole new era for improved and expanded Amtrak service." He also said, "We are grateful to President Biden and Congress for their belief in Amtrak and the power of passenger rail to help tackle the climate crisis, create economic opportunity and good-paying jobs, and expand mobility for our nation. We look forward to working with Secretary Buttigieg, our state commuter and host rail partners and communities across America to rebuild and improve the Northeast Corridor and launch the next generation of Amtrak service in cities and towns across America." The bipartisan infrastructure bill includes $66 billion in new funding for rail to address Amtrak's maintenance backlog, along with upgrading the high-traffic Northeast Corridor from Washington, D.C. to Boston. It also proposes several changes to the legal mission of Amtrak, which rail experts hailed as a win for passenger rail. The bill includes new language that would change Amtrak's goal to meet the inner-city passenger rail needs of the United States rather than achieving a performance level sufficient to justify expending public money. It would also add language that prioritizes service in rural areas in addition to urban ones. In another statement, this one from the Amtrak CEO Bill Flynn, he states that passenger rail offers the transportation solutions this country needs, and Amtrak is ready to make it happen. This bill would allow Amtrak to advance significant infrastructure and major station projects on the NEC, the Northeast Corridor. They would purchase new passenger rail equipment and develop new rail corridors, bringing passenger rail to more people across the nation. As demonstrated by their commitment to rail, in this bill, President Biden and Congress believe in the future of rail and Amtrak, and we will move quickly to advance these projects, he said. The reconciliation bill also would allocate $10 billion each for transit and high-speed rail, topping off those already large amounts for these modes included in the infrastructure bill. Amtrak would get the large share of the $66 billion in the new money, which could enable the rail line to build out its existing service not only along the popular Northeast Corridor, but also in areas such as Colorado and the Midwest. Others are not so sure that the funding will be enough to get the expansion completed. Sean Jean Gale, for instance, who's the vice president for the Rail Passengers Association, they're a passenger advocacy group, said, well, while welcome, it won't be enough to create a true transformation in the country's passenger rail system. But the bill could enable Amtrak to boost its frequency and reliability across its network. But he said it won't be enough to start launching something from nothing, like new service corridors. He noted that much of the money could be eaten up with basic maintenance costs and track upgrades, upholstery of the new train cars, and station ventilation. It would also fund studies and corridor identification exercises that will be needed to carry out future expansions. I think a lot of what we're going to fund with the new infrastructure package is environmental review, route analysis, and coming up with a national concrete plan and doing design work and start constructions in all the corridors, he said. And there needs to be a next package to bring home a lot of that planning work, a lot of that environmental work, and a lot of that design work. An additional $10 billion for rail, high-speed rail, more specifically, is also included in the bill. But moving the country to high-speed rail will likely take some time. Now, despite the large dollar figures, it could take months or even years to start seeing shovels or tractors in action. Those in charge, of course, hope to avoid being compared to President Obama's stimulus program, which focused more on good projects rather than immediate projects. The current labor shortage, along with the long-time workforce issues in the construction trade, could also bring the pace of building down and make projects more expensive, many experts have already warned. There could also be supply chain issues as demand for materials and equipment increases on a finite number of vendors, especially vendors that will satisfy the Buy American requirement. Last week, Amtrak announced that new and hopefully improved state-of-the-art kiosks will provide a consistent and improved customer experience. Out with the old and in with the new, it seems. Amtrak announced that it is introducing over 200 new kiosks in more than 150 stations across the country for an improved customer experience. Amtrak's new kiosks will feature an updated user interface consistent with other Amtrak digital channels that allows for a minimum touch experience for the most common in-station transactions. The Amtrak kiosk will begin with the Northeast rollout starting in Washington's Union Station, the Joseph R. Biden Jr. Rail Station in Wilmington, Delaware, and the Monahan Train Hall in New York City, and continue through the Midwest and into California throughout the autumn of 2021. As we continue to modernize our trains and stations, we are concurrently providing modern amenities to our customers, and we are accomplishing that goal with the new Amtrak kiosk, said the Amtrak Executive Vice President. Our customers can trust that they will have an easy, convenient, and fast experience when using these new kiosks to book or print a ticket for their next trip. The new Amtrak kiosk can be activated by touch, card swipe, barcode scan, or by inserting a headset. Customers can now choose a departure from any station and have the ability to select a seat on trains offering reserved seating. Future enhancements will include the ability to accept contactless payment and send tickets to the customer's email address. The tickets are fully ADA compliant with an available audio instruction for users with limited visibility and a 48-inch height to be accessible for someone in a wheelchair. Amtrak's current Quick Track kiosks, which have been in service for nearly 2 decades, will be retired by the end of 2021. Next, and also announced this week, Amtrak and North America's Building Trades Union, the labor organization who represents more than 3 million skilled craft professionals, announced a landmark national agreement to promote a strong workforce pipeline of U.S. union construction workers to build and expand America's passenger rail. I guess they knew that the House bill mentioned earlier was destined to pass. In an Amtrak press release, the agreement with Amtrak and the NABTU, along with their affiliates and state and local councils, represents a transformative moment for passenger rail and organized construction labor by setting a model for labor management, cooperation, and workforce development. With Amtrak's 15-year expansion strategy to create 500,000 jobs, delivering over $150 billion in economic benefit to 160 local communities, this agreement helps ensure a consistent construction workforce. With this agreement, we will continue to expand our diverse workforce and strengthen the economies of more communities all across the land. We commend Amtrak for coming to the table to work in partnership with us and our membership. We'd also like to thank Ed Wyken, former president of the Transportation Trades Department, for his help and support through the process. So the partnership between Amtrak and the NABTU reflects a commitment to the workforce who will help build the future of the country's rail infrastructure, said Amtrak's president. As son of a frontline railroad employee, I know firsthand the hard work, dedication, and value union employees bring to their job. Amtrak is proud to partner with the NABTU to utilize and grow this workforce. As part of the framework, Amtrak and their construction partners will work together with the building trades to accelerate apprenticeship readiness programs and promote diversity, ensure fair wages and benefits. This announcement underscores Amtrak's commitment to investing in today's workforce as well as the next generation of America's workforce. So with all this funding heading towards Amtrak, the new kiosk system, and a labor agreement in place, the future of rail travel in America, led by Amtrak, appears to be a bright one. So what are your thoughts on this? Can Amtrak pull off an increase in service worthy of the price tag? Will Amtrak provide a better experience for its riders? Let me know in your comments below. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you somewhere checking off an item that's on your bucket list.